hello. I do believe we are live. Welcome to Groundhog Day. I didn't even realize it was Groundhog Day. And I don't know if we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter, but it sure has been exciting around here with snow 3 weekends in a row. I think that's more than we've had in the last 3 years altogether. So please type in the chat box. If you're here, say hello so I know you are with me. Welcome to Insights with Ivanna. This is a weekly broadcast designed to help you identify, embrace, and live more fully in your genius by illuminating important pieces of information you actually already possess. So tonight is our 4th week of a 12-week series exploring pathways to positivity. So hi, I'm Ivanna, the founder and chief luminary officer of Luminary Insights, an intuitive life coaching brand. Tonight we're going to explore serenity. So what is it? How do you get more of it? And how does it help build psychological strength, good mental habits, social connections, and physical health? I'm glad you asked. Hopefully you've come back for week 4, and if it's your first time, welcome, welcome. We will do some recaps. So before we dig into serenity, I'd like to recap last week's exploration of gratitude. So again, type hello in the chat box. I do have 2 screens, and I am looking over at my other screen. Just to recap a little bit about gratitude last week, go ahead and type in the chat box what you tried to go deeper into gratitude. So, did you make a gratitude list? Putting on there the things that mean so much to you to help you remember them in a moment when it might be hard to remember. Or maybe you paired it with your My Joy list. We talked a little bit last week about joy and gratitude and the differences and similarity. Hi, Jody. Thanks for joining us tonight. And so you might have paired those together. One of the things we talked about at the end of the broadcast was a barrage of gratitude, where you just walk around or sit where you are right now and you look at everything and you're grateful for it. Like right before the broadcast started, a moth started flying around on the glass door. There he is now. And I was like, oh, how sweet. I just love that. I don't know why, but it brought joy to my heart. It made me grateful that he's out there. I guess maybe that he's out there and not in here, but just grateful to see this live thing fluttering around. I'm so grateful for electricity and heat and all these comforts that we have. I'm grateful for the internet working, and I'm grateful for you guys that are here either live or who are listening on the replay. So type hello too, even if you're on the replay. So I'm curious to know, what did you do to help you grow in your gratitude? Was there anything that you did to help you maybe go back to the chart? So I'll put the chart in the chat in just a second. But is there anything that you maybe looked at on your chart and you decided to flip? So let me put that in the chat right now in case you're new and haven't seen it. So this document is an example of things that we don't like and things that we want based on the 4 things we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast: psychological strengths, mental habits, social connections, and physical health. And how the things that we're doing over these 12 weeks can help us improve in all of those areas. Looks like Jody shared. For gratitude, I tried to let people that I'm thankful for know that I'm thankful for them, like you. Thank you, Jody. How does that make you feel? You know, it's like we know we care about someone, or we know we're thankful for them. When you tell me you're thankful for me, it makes me feel wonderful. It makes me feel warm. It makes me happy. And I want to give that right back to you. But how does it make you feel? You know, does it do anything for you when you tell people that you're grateful for them? I'll wait a second for you to respond. I know she's probably typing. I'm going to talk for a little bit more for those of you that might be new, that haven't been here before. So on this chart, we had the chance to talk about things that we don't like and what we want. And so again, I'll hold it up just so you can see. So one of my examples was, when it comes to psychological strengths, one of the things I don't like is negative self-talk. I want to believe in the best. I want to be full of joy and full of gratitude and bring those things in when that negative self-talk comes in. And so last week I talked about working on my gratitude. So this week, when I caught myself with negative talk, or in this case it was judgment of others, I was working on a project and that someone else had done the basics of, and the formatting just wasn't right. So at first I was a little frustrated, like, I can't believe they didn't get the formatting right. So then I was like, you know what? Let me flip it. Let me switch gears to gratitude. and I thought about how much work the person had done. They actually did the heavy lifting because they did the content work, and I was just kind of stuck formatting it. And it was like, oh, all I have to do is format it. They did the hard work. And then I thought about, you know, the person worked really hard to meet the deadline, and that person had been spread really thin, and yet they were committed and came through. And so we talked about that 3-to-1 ratio, and that's just my habit now. So I had my 3 positives to go with that initial negative. But then I went on and I thought about, you know what? I am so grateful overall for what a positive impact this final product is going to have on others. And so then the formatting wasn't that big of a deal anymore, because the gratitude had helped me switch into a positive mode. And I see that Jody answered. So when she tells other people that she's grateful for them, it makes her feel excellent and happy. Fantastic. Who can't use more happiness, more positivity in their lives? Well, I know I left feeling much better and calmer and more tranquil, which we could call that serene or serenity that we're going to talk about tonight. But you know, I'm on the pathway of serenity. It is not one of my strengths yet. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So we've looked at the chart, for example, an example of what I've done. So are there any other examples of what you guys might have done on your chart? And even if you gave me one example, if you have another one. So let's see. One of mine is I have this multitasking approach, and I want to be more mindful. And when we talk about some of the definitions I read about serenity in just a minute, that's one of the ones I'm going to be working on this week. So see if there are any other comments. And again, please say hello if you are here. Every week someone tells me, didn't you see me? Didn't you know I was here? Last week I actually had someone, I saw one comment, and then they got in touch later and said, I don't think you saw my comments because you weren't responding, and I had only seen one comment from that person. All right, we'll move on. Here are some different explanations I found for serenity. So again, serenity to me was sort of a surprise when I was looking at Dr. Fredrickson's research. Let me grab the book. I mentioned that I got this book called Positivity by Dr. Fredrickson. She's right here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I am looking forward to connecting with her and meeting her someday. I also happen to mention her in my chapter in Women Who Shine. And so when time feels right, Dr. Fredrickson, I'm going to be reaching out, showing you the book and asking you about yours. But there's so many different, there's 10 different emotions or feelings that she talks about that are all part of positivity. And serenity was not something I had really thought about. And so I've been exploring it more. And here are some of the definitions that I found. See what you think of these. As I read the definitions, I'll pause and type in the chat box a Y or an N if you agree. If you say, yeah, that makes sense for me what serenity is, or no, that doesn't fit my thought of serenity. So type a Y or an N in the chat box as I read each of these. And again, please say hi if you are here. All right, here's the first definition I found. Hello, Robin. I was just saying how your comments weren't coming through last week, so I hope they will work this week. We are talking about serenity. We did a recap on our gratitude, but we're going to talk about serenity. What is serenity? So here's a definition that I found. Serenity is the moment on vacation when you finally let go. So type a Y in the chat box if that fits your concept of serenity, and type an N in the chat box if that just isn't quite what you thought serenity was. Serenity is the moment on vacation when you finally let go. I know there's a little bit of a delay. I got a yes from Jody. Maybe Robin's typing and it's not coming through again. But for me, that one was kind of like, okay, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. That one makes sense. Well, here's another one. Serenity is a state of peacefulness and being content with what you have. That one resonated with me more. That one I would type a yes to. First one, I'm not so sure. What do you think? Yes or no? Serenity is a state of peacefulness and being content with what you have. Robin, inner peace. Yeah, the serenity is a type of inner peace. Okay, here's the next one. Serenity is being completely present with the task you're doing instead of thinking of everything else that's on your to-do list. So that goes with my don't like of trying to multitask all the time and my want of being mindful. So I'll be working on this one. So does this fit your definition of serenity? Serenity is being completely present with the task you're doing instead of thinking of everything else that's on your to-do list. I'm still pondering that one. I'm still pondering. What do you guys think? Lots of exclamation points with Jody there. Yes, yes, yes. Being present, so important. One of the things that Ivanna has struggled with up until now, like Jack Canfield always says, Jack Canfield is like, up until now. It is definitely something that I am growing in and working on to strengthen my positivity muscle. All right, here's the last one. Serenity is perhaps the ultimate state of engagement where one experiences a sense of flow. Yes or no? Serenity is perhaps the ultimate state of engagement where one experiences a sense of flow. And we've talked about flow a little bit before, but just so you know, we're on the same page. Flow is like time stands still. It's just like, almost like you're out of your body, just like everything is right with the world in that moment, that sense of flow. So yes or no for your thought of what serenity is. The ultimate state of engagement where one experiences a sense of flow. I got a yes from Jody. You know, just like last week, that whole idea of flow. I did a lot of reading about flow at the beginning of the pandemic, learning about neuroscience, learning about how we can change our brain with positivity and being in the moment, and how we can get into that state of flow. And it was amazing last week. If you were here, I talked about an experience right before the broadcast where my husband and I had a conversation, and I was shocked at how I was able to remain so calm, because he said something that kind of hurt my feelings. And normally my approach is to kind of defend myself, tell him how I'm feeling. And that's what I started to do. And then I switched to gratitude because I knew I was getting ready to do a broadcast on gratitude. And that's when that miracle happened. I truly had a sense of serenity. And I don't think I could even label it that last week. It was really while working on tonight's broadcast that I went, oh my gosh, you say you don't really understand serenity, but you lived it. You lived it in that moment. Think about that moment. It really was like time stood still. Like I was saying these things and I'm like, are these words coming from me? It's like the words were just coming through me. I felt strong. I felt peaceful. I felt confident. And I was able to say things with true sincerity that I'm so grateful for these things about our relationship and how we can interact with each other. And I know we'll resolve this. And you know, in the past, it's like that negative self-talk would have taken over. Like, I can't believe you said that. If you loved me, you would. You guys know how that works. And it's like, all I'm doing is hurting myself with that. So instead, I had that sense of inner peace, like Robin just mentioned. I had that inner peace. I didn't feel like I needed to, you know, fight for my rights or stand up for who I was. I was able to just stop and be grateful for the good things. It was almost like I was in a dream, you know? It was just like a movie or something. And it's like, oh my gosh, this serenity stuff works. Being in the flow is so powerful. And we can get there through things that were in those definitions we just talked about, by being mindful, by being present in the moment, not thinking about 1,000 other things, by really being able to just let go and find the good in things. And for me, what I love about it, it's not all just woo-woo, it's neuroscience. So the book I showed you with Dr. Fredrickson, her research shows that positivity actually alters how we see connections between ourselves and others. I mean, it totally transformed my relationship with my husband in that moment. I totally saw him differently because my mind had opened and was more broad. I wasn't focused on trying to take care of myself. Her research also shows that we see unity rather than segregation, and we think about we rather than me. And I'm going, oh my gosh, the research totally substantiates what I just experienced. And I've been building that muscle by practicing it on a moment-to-moment basis, and now I'm less reactive. I am far from perfect, but I am less reactive. I'm quicker to seek the joy and the gratitude rather than trying to defend myself or be judgmental. So like that example today, I was like, that was like, oh, wait a minute. this person did this and this and this, and this is all going to be great. So it makes a difference. It changes our whole world. What we perceive changes our world in such an amazing way. So anyway, a little bit more about the research, because I love research. Dr. Fredrickson calls it the Broaden effect. And so what it does is that it opens our minds. And in many of the books I read about flow, it talked about the same thing. When our minds are more open, we're more creative, we're more open-minded, we're more kind, and we are all overall a better person. Sign me up, right? Sign me up. It is worth it. So I want to try a little activity with you guys tonight to see if we can find serenity together. Because remember, we are looking to strengthen psychologically strengthen ourselves, build good mental habits, or increase our good mental habits, strengthen our social connections, and increase our physical health through positivity. Again, the research says it all. So if you're willing to try it with me, what I want to do is similar to a visualization that we did with joy. Similar, but not exactly the same thing. So if you're willing to close your eyes, then I'd like to take us each to our own favorite place. So think about your absolute favorite place. It can be real, it can be imaginary, your absolute favorite place. And hopefully with your eyes closed, begin to see it in your mind's eye. See that place. What do you see? Who's there? What colors are there? What time of day is it? What season is it? And now that you're beginning to see it, add your other senses. Is there anything that you smell? Do you smell food? Do you smell the ocean, salt water? Do you smell the pine trees? What do you smell? Keep layering it. Is there anything that you taste? What are you touching? What can you feel? Do you feel something soft, something hot, something cold? Now add in anything that you hear. Are there people talking? Maybe there's music playing. Take all those pieces and bring it together into your favorite place. Now that you have that favorite place in mind, imagine that you are there right now. You're really, really there in that place, and you have nothing else to do other to enjoy your favorite place. You can keep adding to it. You can add people. You can add activities. Anything that feels right. Bring in all of your senses. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Now take a deep breath and relax and really just sink into experiencing that place. Now, while you're still there, take a deep breath, and as you breathe out with a So take a deep breath in. We're going to do it 2 more times. Try to feel your shoulders relax. If your tongue is in the roof of your mouth, let that drop down. And let's do it 1 more time. And enjoy your favorite place for a few more seconds. We're going to take another deep breath in and just release any tension that's left in your body. Seeing, feeling, experiencing true serenity in your favorite place. Now, before we leave your favorite place, we've done things before where we take a snapshot to take with us, but this is so precious and so important that what I want you to do is take a little video, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, something that captures the essence of this favorite place and the serenity that you feel there. Take a little video and then store it up in the corner of your mind to come back to later. I'll give you a few more seconds. Hopefully you have your video. So take one more deep breath and blow it out hard. Begin to wiggle your toes. You can wiggle your whole body. I like to wiggle my whole body. And begin to come back into this moment. Open your eyes when you feel comfortable. You might want to open looking down at first, and maybe partially open and bring it back all together. You might not want to come back at all, but you now have this video that you have stored in your mind, and you can come back to it at any time. This feeling of serenity. In the middle of things going crazy around you, you can close your eyes, or like I like to do, go in the bathroom, close the door, and have just a moment of going back to that place that I have saved, that feeling I have saved. Type in the chat box, if you would, how do you feel? How does your body feel? How does your mind feel? How do you feel overall? You may be happy or relaxed or peaceful. Hopefully you can label it as serene. So let's see what you guys have to say in the chat box. Even though I wasn't able to fully experience it, I can feel the difference. I can feel more serene because I've done this before, and that video is already in my subconscious. Even though I'm talking to you, my body is reacting to that video playing in the background. It's powerful. It is so powerful. Relaxed for Jody. Awesome. We'll see if we see any more comments. Now, if you tried it and you weren't able to get to that place of serenity, maybe there were external distractions, or like there often are for me, internal distractions, you can always come back and watch it again. You will get it. You will get it. So that little serenity movie is something you can keep in your mind and play it over and over again. So I'd like you to go back to the chart and think about one of your don't likes. We have a few minutes. We can do this probably really quickly. Think about one of your don't likes and go back to that visualization that we did in the past. So for me, I'm going to pick multitask approach this time. And if I close my eyes for just a moment, and I think about my multitasking in my day and running around and trying to do like I did today, 100 things at one time, my shoulders get tight, my jaw gets tight, my shoulders start hurting, I start getting a headache, I don't breathe deeply, and I feel all that in my body. So if you're able to, go to one of your don't likes and feel it in your body. So that don't like for me is tied to mental habits, my mental habit of multitasking. And I feel that in my body. So see if you can feel that. What does it do to your body? Tightness for me, lots of tension. What you can do now with this new movie that you have, when you're in the middle of one of those tense situations, one of your don't likes, you can actually flip it into what you do want, which is that, for me, that mindfulness. By playing that movie, it's like, okay, it only takes a second. That's why I said only do like a 2-second or 3-second video in your brain, because you want to be able to do it just like that. I'm in the middle of something stressful. I might not even have to close my eyes. I can go to that place, and it helps me move into the what I do want. If I'm panically doing two things, it's like, oh, I can do this, and both things will be done, but will they be done well? Will I be stressed? I was today. Instead of playing my movie, I did it, and now it's like, oh, I can just let it go. I can let it go. So think about your don't want. Feel how it feels in your body. Then go to your mind movie of serenity and see what that does to your body as well. You can take a deep breath and play your video on endless loop if you need to all day long. So if you are willing to give this a try this week, playing your video or continuing to add to your chart, I can put the link in the chat again in case you didn't get it. But putting your own ideas in the chart with what you don't like and what you do want, for me, it gives me that accountability. I've really been focusing on the negative self-talk, and now I'm ready to move to my multitasking approach. You don't have to do them all at the same time, but I know for me, at the end of this 12 weeks, I want to be able to say that I have strengthened myself psychologically, my mental habits are better, my social connections are enhanced, and my physical health is better. And I'm about 50% at this point. I can really see a difference in the way I'm acting and reacting to things. So type a Y in the chat box if you are willing to give that a try this week. And then when you come back next week, I look forward to hearing what you've done and how it has impacted you. I do want to encourage you to invite others to come. If we could get the group numbers up, I think I would go to a Zoom/Facebook broadcast so that we can have a little more interaction, but I need to get the numbers up a little bit higher. So invite your friends, and then maybe we can switch our platform up a little bit. So if you are interested in going deeper in the whole concept of positivity and how it can change your life, go to myluminaryinsights.com. Thank you, Jody, for your yes. Go to myluminaryinsights.com and click on the Let's Talk tab and fill out the form, and we can talk a little bit more. So I appreciate you walking the pathway to positivity with me. I do try to keep these broadcasts to around 30 minutes so I don't take up too much of your precious time. You can also reach out to me at Ivanna, Ivanna, at myluminaryinsights.com. And I'll stay on for just another minute to see if you have any other comments or questions. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for those who are watching it. I do hear from several people that they are watching the replays, and I really appreciate that. I did get a phone call last week, we're only on Wednesday, last week, from someone who said that these broadcasts had really helped them think differently about things, and they wanted some advice to help them make a choice that they had already really made. As soon as they started talking, just like we talk about at the beginning of the broadcast, your genius is already there, you just have to find it. This person already knew her answer. She just had to process through it, and so it is a privilege for me to be able to help people process through especially things that are life-changing as you grow into your genius. So thank you so much. Thank you, Robin, for being here. Thank you, Jody. And you guys have a wonderful night. Lots of love and light.